we like go shopping or something. I mean, like I paid for it. And I was like, what the f just say? I got the away from him because I was like, this nigga. Wait, this nigga just tell me he'd take me shopping. And this is goes on. But this is a little fruit pie.
50 Cent is back in full force, and once again, he's not holding back. This time, he's coming for the top players in the industry, aiming straight at the core. The latest buzz? He's deep into production on his explosive Diddy documentary, and insiders say it's about to flip the entire industry upside down.
Because I just say...
Nah, but you got close when he offered to take you shopping.
Yeah, you see, Amika's in the same shirt. He's out there in the same shirt. This is not this is really hot.
But this isn't just any documentary. According to sources close to the project, it's loaded with receipts, behind-the-scenes secrets, and sensitive stories that some powerful figures would rather keep buried. And apparently, those same players are already working behind closed doors, doing whatever they can to shut the project down before it drops. Of course, 50 Cent isn't letting that fly. In classic form, he's out here calling names, exposing pressure tactics, and making it clear he's ready for whatever smoke comes his way. But to understand why 50 is going so hard at Diddy, you've got to rewind and take a closer look at both of their rise to the top stories.
No. Fuck, but he called, we used to kick it on telephone and after the meeting.
Right.
And then it's like, matter of fact, they sent me the girl pictures, like pictures of this girl, like, not the shit y'all saw. Worse, way worse.
Wow.
Oh, you killing me up?
Like penetration pictures and
Nah, come on, man. Come on, Fifth.
all that. And I called the nigga and said, yo, you really do the girl, like you really, like, you like her like that? And he was like, yeah, that's my girl. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna send you something. You look at it, you call me back.
Yeah,
I sent him the photos, the pictures and everything. And then he called back and was like, yo, thanks, man. Yo, I really appreciate that. Yo, where you get this from?
Let's start with Diddy. Born in 1969 and raised in Harlem during the gritty, rough-edged 1970s. He's long credited Harlem with shaping his ambition, style, and survival mindset. But after his father was killed when Diddy was just 2 years old, his family moved to Mount Vernon, a calmer suburb just outside of the Bronx. Mount Vernon offered a stark contrast to Harlem, a more peaceful environment with broader opportunities. The change gave Diddy a new outlook and the chance to explore creative interests. He attended a private all-boys Catholic school, then got into performing arts. As a teenager, Diddy even danced in music videos for stars like Diana Ross.
All right, so you and Diddy, you and Puff cool?
No, I don't really rock with him.
Okay, damn, all right. I didn't know what that meant.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
After high school, he enrolled at Howard University in Washington, D.C., where he studied business while throwing massive parties that pulled celebrity attention. These weren't typical college house parties. These were star-studded industry events, and Diddy made sure to leave an impression, handing out business cards with Puff etched into them. By 1989, Diddy's networking paid off. His childhood friend, Heavy D, a respected rapper and producer, introduced him to Andre Harrell, the founder of Uptown Records. That moment became his gateway to the music industry. Diddy started as an intern, but quickly climbed the ranks, eventually becoming an A&R executive at Uptown by the age of 20, an impressive feat at any level. But success wasn't without setbacks. Uptown's parent company grew uncomfortable with the explicit nature of Biggie's debut album, Ready to Die, and tried to kill the project. Diddy fought to keep it alive, but was ultimately fired from Uptown. That firing, though, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise.
Speaking of, in particular, Netflix docuseries that you've been working on, Diddy Do It?
Right.
You've been saying for years that you feel you knew Diddy's character.
Right.
Yet you said you weren't a part of that lifestyle, you weren't going to the parties. So what makes you so absolutely sure that these kinds of allegations that we've seen against him are true?
Well, I'm surprised by the allegations, as surprised as everyone else is. Like, I didn't make the allegations. I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else. But I did feel uncomfortable with the way he would present the idea of going to these projects.
To come party with me.
Yeah. And then that swayed me away from it, just that alone.
Diddy didn't back down. He flipped the rejection into a launchpad and in 1993 founded Bad Boy Entertainment. He brought along breakout artists like Craig Mack, the LOX, Lil' Kim, and of course, Notorious B.I.G. By 1994, Bad Boy was dominating the charts, and Biggie's Ready to Die finally hit the streets. Ready to Die dropped, and it was an instant classic. The album skyrocketed on the charts, and Bad Boy Entertainment was suddenly the label everyone wanted to be signed to. Through the 1990s, Diddy was on a winning streak, releasing hit after hit, producing platinum-selling records, and building a public image as the guy in hip-hop. By the early 2000s, Diddy wasn't just a music mogul. He was living like a Hollywood A-lister.
Yeah, I heard that there's this story. I don't know if it's true. It's a story like, I guess I gotta say you and Diddy, since you saying you was dead.
Yeah.
In the office.
Yes, me, 50, and Diddy.
Yeah, I guess somebody comes through the door and 50 Cent puts the table or some shit like that.
Oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember. Okay. I just remember being in the meeting. It was me, Diddy, and 50, and 50 was out on the streets, and Diddy didn't want the problem because all the Biggie shit, and that was really it. And respected it and kept it moving because 50 wrote for Diddy before.
Ah,
yeah. They did business before, like when it come to New York, it's 50, Jay-Z, and Diddy, man. Stay smart, because I can't take nothing.
With money flowing, chart-topping songs under his belt, and even Jennifer Lopez on his arm at the 2000 Grammy Awards, Diddy had crossed over into pop culture royalty. He was no longer just a producer. He was now a certified celebrity, mingling with elite circles and sipping champagne in the spotlight. But while Diddy was enjoying the high life, down in the trenches, a young MC from Southside Jamaica, Queens, was still clawing for a place at the table. That young rapper, 50 Cent. And this stark contrast between their realities during that era would later shape the tension between them. Diddy was draped in designer suits, shining in clubs, and making headlines with high-profile relationships. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was in the streets, grinding, hustling, and literally fighting for survival. He wasn't just watching the game from the sidelines. He was writing his own playbook.
We go shopping or something. I paid for it. And I was like, what the you just say? I got the away from him because I was like, this nigga. Wait, this nigga just tell me he'd take me shopping. And this is goes on. But this is a little fruit pie.
In the late 90s, 50 Cent was building his name block by block. Born Curtis Jackson, he was better known in Queens as Boo Boo, and he ran the infamous 134 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard with authority. But even though he came from that street life, he saw music as his ticket out. He had ambitions beyond the corner. By 1996, his dream was taking shape. Under the mentorship of Jam Master Jay from Run DMC, 50 began refining his skills, learning to write hooks, structure songs, and build an artist identity. It was more than raw talent, it was strategy. By 1999, he secured a deal with Columbia Records and began working on what would have been his debut album, Power of the Dollar. But even with a major label backing him, 50 knew he needed to cut through the noise. That's when things got bold. In August 1999, 50 Cent dropped the infamous How to Rob, a diss track aimed at nearly every big name in the industry. It was a calculated move. The track mentioned R&B legends Bobby Brown and Keith Sweat, DMX, and, yes, even Diddy. The opening bars included a wild line where he fantasized about kidnapping Diddy's then-girlfriend, Kim Porter, demanding a ransom, and clowning Diddy for dancing his way to the ATM. It was over the top, but it got everyone talking. Suddenly, the name 50 Cent was everywhere. The buzz was electric, but short-lived, because then came Ghetto Quran. In 2000, 50 released a track that changed everything. Ghetto Quran wasn't just music. It was a lyrical expose. In it, 50 detailed alleged events surrounding Queens drug lord Kenneth Supreme McGriff and his crew. In Ghetto Quran, 50 Cent didn't pull any punches. He named names, described alleged criminal activity, and even detailed the specific cars certain figures drove. Some people called it bold storytelling. Others accused him of snitching. Either way, it caused serious waves. And one person who wasn't impressed? Kenneth Supreme McGriff. Then came the moment that changed 50 Cent's life forever. On May 24th, 2000, he was ambushed outside his grandmother's home and shot 9 times at close range. But in a display of raw willpower, 50 survived the attack, drove himself to the hospital, and recovered from what should have been a fatal encounter. His survival became legendary in hip-hop, but while his resilience made him a street icon, the shooting derailed his music career. Columbia Records dropped him, and his debut album, Power of the Dollar, was shelved. Just like that, his momentum disappeared. But by 2001, 50 was already back in the studio. And surprisingly, Diddy seemed to have moved past the tension caused by How to Rob. In fact, Jennifer Lopez, who was dating Diddy at the time, suggested that 50 work as a ghostwriter for him. According to 50, he ended up writing both the hook and Diddy's verse for the track Let's Get It by Bad Boy, featuring Black Rob. If you listen closely, you can definitely hear 50's signature cadence in those lyrics. Still, despite collaborating behind the scenes, 50 wasn't ready to make peace publicly. In 2002, he released Get Out the Club, where he blatantly called Diddy a trick. He also took jabs at Diddy missing Jennifer Lopez on another song. Diddy, however, never responded to the diss, at least not directly. Instead, he seemed to let it slide. Maybe he chalked it up to 50, just being his usual aggressive self. Despite the shade, Diddy actually considered signing 50 Cent to Bad Boy Records. According to Tony Yayo, that conversation happened, but ultimately fell through. Why didn't the deal happen? Word is, Diddy didn't want to deal with the heat that 50 had attracted by naming names in Ghetto Quran. The fallout from that track had made 50 too controversial at the time. In hindsight, turning down 50 may have been one of Diddy's biggest missed opportunities. If they had teamed up, they could have formed a powerhouse in hip-hop. But knowing 50, there's a strong chance he would have found a way to stir the pot anyway. Chaos followed him, no matter what. Fast forward to 2003, and both 50 Cent and Diddy were at the top of their game. They were dominant forces in rap, each running their own corners of the music world. Despite their complicated past, things remained relatively quiet between them for a while. But peace never lasts long in this industry. Everything came to a boiling point at the MTV Video Music Awards on August 28, 2003. Diddy had been tapped to present the award for Best Rap Video, and guess who the winner was? 50 Cent. On stage, it looked like smiles and handshakes. 50 and Diddy were seen vibing with Eminem, trading dap, and sharing the spotlight. But behind the scenes, the energy was different. According to reports, the real tension started later that year at the wedding of Chris Lighty, a respected figure in the industry and a close associate to both Diddy and 50 Cent. That night is where things took a strange turn. In later interviews, 50 Cent shared that Diddy made him an odd offer at the wedding. He said he'd take me shopping and pay for everything. 50 wasn't sure what to make of the offer. He didn't know if Diddy was being generous, sarcastic, or implying something deeper. But it left him uncomfortable, and from there, the tension grew stronger. Diddy has access to some of the top legal powerhouses in the country, and they've already proven they know how to navigate high-stakes lawsuits. Just look at how quickly they reached that confidential settlement with Cassie. These lawyers aren't just defending a client. They're working to contain fallout, block leaks, and apply pressure on any source brave enough to speak out publicly. That legal firepower alone could delay or derail 50 Cent's documentary, especially if sensitive documents or private testimonies are involved. But legal pressure isn't the only tool at Diddy's disposal. He's also backed by some of the most influential names in corporate America. Brands that have long partnered with him, like Ciroc Vodka, his various media ventures, and other luxury sponsors, may step in to protect their brand reputations. With so much money and power on the line, some of these companies may feel compelled to intervene behind the scenes. And that's what makes this situation so volatile. There are high-level partnerships, legacy business deals, and industry reputations all at risk. With so many heavyweights involved, the documentary may face challenges from every angle, legal, financial, and political. But let's not forget who we're talking about here, 50 Cent. He built his brand off confronting giants, and controversy only makes him more focused. He's already made it clear. He's prepared for resistance and has taken precautions against sabotage. According to close collaborators, he's working behind the scenes, ensuring every piece of evidence, every voice, and every allegation is protected. At the heart of this documentary isn't just exposure, it's about accountability. 50 Cent and executive producer Nathan Stapleton have emphasized that while the claims are serious, they also aim to acknowledge Diddy's undeniable impact on hip-hop culture. This isn't about erasing legacy, it's about putting the spotlight on the untold stories, giving people the chance to speak their truth, no matter how hard others try to bury it. So, what's next for Diddy? Will legal power and connections protect him, or will the truth finally cut through the silence? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Where do you think this all ends? Do you see justice, a comeback, or something in between? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a single update. Stay locked in for more powerful stories, only here on Celeb Vibe.